We are now talking to the host of Belly Up Sports Around for the Weekend, Ryan McCarthy. What's going on, Ryan?
Gentlemen, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I was listening to the show before you brought me on, and Errol, you're on fire, dude.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, you know what it is, Ryan? I can't stand, and a lot of these guys, they come on and they talk. I've been reading all over social media all day today about Tom Brady this and Tom Brady that. I understand that people think I hate Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is a top 5 quarterback. I'm not going to argue that. But Tom Brady, year in and year out, it doesn't matter if he plays well or he plays terrible. If he wins, they give all the credit to Tom Brady, even if it's not Tom Brady. If he loses, it's not Tom Brady's fault. It was the defense. It was the running game. It was this. They don't want to blame anything on Tom Brady.
Well, he is the patron saint of this era, so just want to let you know that. No, did you guys see the way he tried to high-five the referee, and the referee was like, yeah, this isn't New England, Tom. Stop that.
Knowing the way the refs are to the Saints, they probably would do it anyway.
Oh, boy.
To me, I wouldn't be surprised if the refs actually helped Tom Brady win the game, because we've seen this over and over again. And how many times have we seen Tom Brady actually high-five a referee in the middle of a playoff game? We've seen it quite a few times. I remember against the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl, he did that as well. So that's just me. I don't know. I'm not saying that there's some kind of
inside information.
Yes, I don't know if there's something, but to me, a lot of people love Tom Brady and what Tom Brady, who he is as a person, who he is as a football player. But Tom Brady wasn't the reason why they won the game. Tom Brady was a piece of why they won the game, but he wasn't the factor on why they won the game. So let me ask you, Ryan, how are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
We're doing all right. I already work from home. I work a full-time job with an insurance company, so I've been working from home for roughly 6 years. So I wasn't too affected at all. I've had other family members who had to start working from home. My parents, who are in their 60s and 70s respectively, they're doing all right. They're hanging in there. We're just waiting. We're just counting down the days until things are back to what they were before. Like I want to be at the ice. I want to be at the ice rink taking pictures of hockey games or watching hockey games and enjoying a beer and a hot dog at a baseball game. That's where I want to be this year. That's where I want to be. I'm talking. Sure you guys the same way.
Absolutely. We are talking to the host of Belly Up Sports Around the Weekend, Ryan McCarthy. So Ryan, I want to know what your thoughts were. What game stood out to you this weekend, and what game is going to stand out to you in the AFC and NFC title game?
Well, the one game that stood out to me, and I was watching it live, and I was watching it pretty much watching the entire game, was the Browns Chiefs. That was the most interesting because when you saw Mahomes go down, the dynamic changed instantly. I thought the Chiefs missed some chances to end the Browns very, very early. I think right before halftime, they got the turnover and. They drive down the field. No, they force a field goal. Right. They drive down the field. They don't get the touchdown. They get the field goal. I thought if they got a touchdown and they got that touchdown to the pick six, that was game over.
Right.
I mean, that was. And you have to play. You don't have to play as desperate as they did at the end. But when Mahomes went down, that just flipped the script. Flipped the script and gave the Browns some hope, and they got the running game back, which I was kind of wondering why they kind of went away from it. And that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, I actually picked the Browns on the upset, so it was very close. I just couldn't get the final stops at the end of that game. Now, sticking with the Chiefs, are you concerned maybe that they played not necessarily, maybe either played down to them or didn't look as good as they should have against the Browns? Even in the times with Mahomes in the game, they were settling for field goals a lot more than usual. Harrison Butker missed an extra point and a field goal, which is very.
I wouldn't say it was the Chiefs playing down to the Browns. I would say the Browns elevated their game. They had a lot of momentum coming into the last couple of weeks, and that game against Pittsburgh where they just absolutely handed their lunch to them, to Big Ben and the rest of the Steelers, that kind of gave them motivation to say, hey, we could probably go all the way. And unfortunately, they didn't. That's too bad because I've got a lot of friends who are Cleveland fans, and they were all disappointed that they couldn't get to the championship. But I thought the Browns played at a more elevated level than a lot of people thought give them credit for.
Ryan, when you look at the football playoffs, and these games we talk about the wild card weekend. That's the best week of football. Now the divisional games. Was was this a fun divisional week? I really was expecting a lot more exciting games. A lot of these games were not exciting. A lot of them were blowouts, a matter of fact. I mean, the Buffalo Bills blowing out Baltimore, Green Bay blowing out the LA Rams. Kansas City looked like they were going to blow out Cleveland until they came back. That was the most exciting game. And then Tampa, I don't know what, this game was the worst game of the week. The game that everybody thought, I mean, this was a headlining game on Sunday night, and this was probably the worst game out of all of them. Were you surprised that the games weren't as exciting as they usually are?
Initially, I did, especially with Green Bay and Los Angeles. I expected the Rams to play a little closer. I know Aaron Donald had some injury concerns coming into the game. He was very limited. I thought the Rams were going to I can't understand the Rams with their quarterback situation. Jared Goff's basically playing with half a thumb, trying to throw the ball, and try to get the running game going, but they can't seem to. And after that first touchdown by the Packers, where beautifully designed play by Matt LaFleur, right, with Rodgers throwing to Adams and just absolutely beating the brakes off of Ramsey, and Ramsey just having a temper tantrum on the side. It was game over from there. As soon as I saw that and I saw the Packers driving down the field for the second touchdown, I said, you know what? I'm going to watch a hockey game. This game's over.
So you're a big Jets guy, and the Jets have made a lot of headlines recently with their new coaching.
You don't know how happy I am about this. You
don't know how happy I am that you're a Jet fan.
So explain your happiness of the hiring of Robert Saleh, and do you think he was the best coach they could have gotten?
While I was on a Jets podcast, exclusive Jets podcast, it was called Downtown Jets. Dan Goldstein, my former co-host, shout out to you if you're watching. We came up with our top 3 picks for head coaches, and we both had the consensus that Matt Campbell from Iowa State was our number 1 guy. I think a lot of Jets fans, I hope a lot of Jets fans had him in mind too. But reading the reports that he's I'm not interested in the pros right now. I completely understand. We also had Bieniemy. We also had Arthur Smith. We kind of had Robert Saleh as an afterthought, but then you saw the Jets. Okay, they brought him in for a first interview. Great. They brought him in for a second interview. Then you see him go to Philly for an interview. And you say, okay, you gotta do something, guys. You gotta make him an offer. You gotta make him an offer. And as soon as I made the offer and he accepted in principle, I was ecstatic because this means that I won't have to enter every week for like to have the last 2 years and wanting to put my head through a wood chipper every time Adam Gase makes a really bad call. And I'm pretty sure most Jets fans feel the same. And reading more about Saleh and who he's bringing in, what kind of a guy he is, and what kind of a character he is, I have hope. I feel encouraged for the first time as a Jets fan, and I can't tell you how long. Now I was listening along to Weapons Hot last night. Solid job by those guys. They had a really good analysis. They had lots of, also very entertaining too. And most Jets fans are, Errol yourself included. So, so they had a lot of good breakdowns about Saleh, who they're going to keep, who they're going to punt. I guess keep and punt is their big thing. But I think a lot of Jets fans have a lot of hope right now.
I knew that Saleh was going to get the job because he did a Zoom conference with Joe Douglas. Then they called him in. He was in his office for about 8 hours, and he left. And a lot of people said, well, if the Jets let him leave, he's probably not going to get the job. Saleh was waiting for the Urban Meyer thing to fall. When Urban Meyer signed with Jacksonville, 10 minutes later, Robert Saleh signed with the New York Jets because the number 1 team that everybody wanted to go and coach was Jacksonville because of the whole Trevor Lawrence sweepstake. Everybody knew about it. And with the draft stock that they have 11 draft picks this year. And the money that they have this offseason, they have over $80 million that they spend, which is the most in the NFL, and the Jets have the second most. A lot of people thought that Saleh wanted that job. When Urban Meyer fell to Jacksonville, I knew, and I told everybody, I told all the Jet fans, don't worry, everybody. I was on 2 radio shows, 2 FM shows when they asked me, who do you think is the next head coach of the New York Jets? I said, hands down, it's Robert Saleh. I'll be very surprised before the end of the week he doesn't sign with the New York Jets. What happened the day after? He signs with the New York Jets. So I'm very excited with Robert Saleh. I really am. I like the fact that he's bringing LaFleur in, who a lot of people say is an up and coming offensive coordinator, and he'll probably be there for maybe 1 or 2 years. and then he'll get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
And the stories that are coming out that the Jets are looking to possibly bring in what's his name again from the old Cowboys, the cornerback coach.
Chris Richard.
Chris Richard. That's what I'm hearing right now. It looks like Chris Richard might be getting the job as the defensive coordinator for the Jets. So you have two really young, offensive defensive coordinators, and you have Robert Saleh, who's a very young guy too.
He's younger than me. That's I'm 43. He's 41. So it's interesting to see that like all these coaches are younger than me. It's just I feel old.
Well, I feel old too. I'm 38, so I'm getting there too. But
hey,
yeah,
you're only as old as you feel. I'm prefer to be kind of a big kid at heart.
I got one of the biggest panty droppers over here, and then you have me. So we have a lot of things. But as you guys know, we are talking to the host of Belly Up Sports around the weekend, Ryan McCarthy. Now, Ryan, you are a hockey fan too,
yep.
And what I heard, through the grapevine, is that you're a Ranger fan. Am I right?
No, I'm a New Jersey Devils fan.
Sorry, you're a Devil fan. So,
it's okay.
So the beginning of the season, last week, the beginning of the season was Wednesday. The New Jersey Devils are playing good hockey right now. They really are. They've been in every single game. You're seeing Jack Hughes slowly but surely develop. You have some of the young players that they have. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts with the Devils, and what are your thoughts this year in the division that the Devils are playing in?
Well, it's definitely the toughest division in hockey. That's for sure. And the beauty about being in the East is that you don't have to travel as much as you do have the other divisions. Like the Canadian division, you have to travel all 3 time zones to get to where you're playing. The West division, you got to travel 3 time zones. Central, 2 time zones. But with the East division, it's based north. It's Northeast based teams. And the farthest south you got to go is Washington. The farthest west you got to go is Buffalo. So everybody's regionally not that too far apart. There's going to be you get the old rivalries like in the Patrick division. You still got the Philadelphias and the Washingtons and the Rangers and the Islanders, but then you got the Sabres and the Bruins, and the Bruins got announced as one of the teams to play in the East. That whole thing flipped. I mean, Boston became basically the team to beat, and the Devils played them the first 2 games. I had a little bit of concern because Boston's they're Boston. Mm-hmm. The Bruins have been the Bruins. The way they've been they played the last 10 years, they've been to 3 Cup finals. They've won 1, and they still have a lot of those guys around from the 2011 team. They're just a little bit older, a little bit more experienced than a lot of the Devils. I mean, most of the Devils were wet behind the ears right when the Bruins were winning their first Stanley Cup in 2011. So watching the first 2 games. Now I finally have MSG on Fubo. I can finally watch Devils games. It's been a while, but watching the first 2 games, I've noticed a couple things. The first thing, they push the pace. The team is fast. The team is very fast. They're young. I mean, they get some little experience in there, but they're fast. They push the pace. They're going to put pressure on the opponent. The fact they got 3 out of 4 points against Boston to start the season, it should tell Devils. It should give Devils fans a lot of hope. And the one thing I really I'm kind of nitpicking here, but their power play, they're 0 for the season. I want to see them shoot the puck more than the power play. I know Mark Recchi was brought in as an assistant to help with the power play. So I mean, they got 54 more games to go. That shouldn't be too much of a